Do you ever lie awake at 3 a.m., listening to the quiet hum of the world, wondering why your mind won't follow your body into rest? You're not alone. For many women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, nights can feel longer than days. Not just because of the silence or the stillness, but because of what that silence awakens. The memories, the worries, the deep ache of wanting rest but not knowing how to surrender to it anymore. And when you live alone, the weight of sleeplessness feels heavier. There's no gentle voice next to you whispering, "It's okay." No shared breath to remind you that you're safe. Just you and the ticking of the clock. But what if, instead of fighting sleep, we could soften toward it? What if there were simple, comforting tools that could gently guide us toward peace each night, without medication, without confusion, and without feeling like we're doing it wrong? That's what this video is about. Today, I want to show you some of the most trusted, easy-to-use sleep apps that many older women are turning to. Not to fix themselves, but to feel held. To create a nighttime rhythm that actually honors this chapter of life, where quiet doesn't have to mean loneliness, and where sleep can become something sacred again. Let's take a gentle walk through the ones that truly work, not just because they're popular, but because they speak to the specific challenges many of us face at night. Let's begin with Calm. Calm is perhaps one of the most well-known sleep apps in the world, and for good reason. At its heart, it offers what many of us crave most: soothing stories, peaceful voices, and a sense of presence that doesn't feel artificial or rushed. One of its most beloved features is called Sleep Stories. Imagine a soft, slow-spoken tale designed not to entertain you, but to relax you. Some are read by familiar voices, like Matthew McConaughey or Stephen Fry, but many are read by gentle female narrators, whose voices feel like a warm blanket around your thoughts. Now you might wonder, what's the point of a story if I'm not even supposed to stay awake to hear the end? That's exactly the point. These stories aren't about content. They're about rhythm, about giving your brain something calm and neutral to follow, so it doesn't spiral into worry. I remember reading about a woman in her late 60s, living alone in Vancouver. She had gotten into the habit of leaving the TV on at night, just to feel like someone was there. But she realized it was doing more harm than good, loud ads, flashing lights, chaotic scenes. She discovered Calm one winter evening and started listening to a story about a train journey through the snowy Alps. Within minutes, her body softened. Within a week, the TV was off, and the stories had become her new lullaby. Calm has both free and paid options, but even the free version offers enough to get started, especially if you're just beginning your journey with sleep support. Next is Insight Timer. Insight Timer might sound complicated, but it's actually one of the simplest, most generous tools out there. It offers thousands of free guided meditations, including a large library specifically for sleep. But what makes Insight Timer special for older women is this. It doesn't try to fix your sleep. It invites you to notice it, to shift from judging your restlessness to gently observing it, and then softening your breath, your muscles, your inner pace. There was a woman in Florida, 72 years old, who had tried everything, from melatonin to hot baths to podcasts, but her mind wouldn't slow down at night. She said meditation felt foreign to her, maybe even too new age. But one day, she tried a 7-minute guided body scan from Insight Timer. A calm woman's voice guided her through relaxing each part of her body, from her toes to the crown of her head. She said she didn't even remember the ending. The beauty of Insight Timer is that it respects your pace. If you only want to try 5 minutes a night, that's enough. If you'd like a longer session, they're there too. No pressure, no timeline, just gentle support. And yes, it's completely free. Now let's talk about Ziz. It's a funny name, but a surprisingly powerful tool. Ziz is designed around what's called binaural audio. That's just a fancy way of saying it uses a blend of music, voice, and ambient sound to guide your brain into sleep. But unlike some apps that play the same loop over and over, Ziz uses smart technology to create a different experience each night, so your brain doesn't get used to it and tune it out. This is especially helpful for people who struggle with waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. and not being able to fall back asleep. It doesn't try to make you sleep. It gives your body permission to drift, to let go. A woman in England, 74, said she uses the nap function in the afternoon for about 20 minutes, and the sleep setting at night. She described the sensation as being gently walked to bed by someone who cared. Not rushed, Not push, just invited. Ziz has both free and paid options. The nap and sleep features are available without a subscription, and many people find that's all they need. And now Better Sleep, formerly known as Relax Melodies. This app lets you build your own sleep environment, like painting a nighttime landscape with sound. You can mix and match things like ocean waves, flute music, rain on a rooftop, or even the crackling of a fireplace. For many women, especially those who grew up with more natural sounds around them, these combinations feel like home, like memory. One 66-year-old woman shared that every night, she plays a mix of flute music, light ocean waves, and fireplace crackles. She said it reminds her of summers spent at a lakeside cabin with her sisters. That memory, that feeling, it helps her body feel safe enough to rest. What's powerful about Better Sleep is that you're in control. You can save your favorite sound mixes, adjust volumes for each layer, and even add a soft voiceover if you want someone gently guiding you into rest. Many older women say this app has become part of their nighttime ritual, something they look forward to. Not just a tool but a companion. These 4 apps, Calm, Insight Timer, Ziz, and Better Sleep, are more than just digital tools. For many, they've become soft bridges between waking and rest. Quiet friends who wait patiently, who don't judge, who simply offer a space to land. And as you can see, none of them require you to be tech-savvy. You don't need to be on social media. You don't need to understand algorithms. You just need a quiet moment, a set of earphones or a speaker, and the willingness to try. Because sleep, especially in our later years, is not a luxury, it's a foundation. For memory, for energy, for emotional peace. And yet, so many older women struggle with it silently. But it doesn't have to be that way. What these apps show us is that sleep is not a demand but an invitation. And we get to choose how gently we arrive at it. And the journey doesn't end here. There are more tools, more gentle voices, more ways to feel supported when the world is quiet and your thoughts feel loud. Especially for those nights when stories aren't enough, or when you need something even simpler, even softer. So in the next part, we'll continue exploring. And I'll guide you through a few more options that might surprise you, some that don't sound like sleep apps at all, but can become powerful allies in your rest. We'll continue together. And the journey doesn't end here. There are still nights when even the softest story doesn't quite settle the restlessness. When you want more than just background noise, you want something that feels made just for you. Something simple but steady. Let's keep going. Another app that many older women have quietly turned to is called Sleepiest. It's a bit like Calm, but with a slightly more personal feel. Sleepiest offers bedtime stories, soothing soundscapes, and gentle sleep meditations, all with the goal of helping you drift off. Not by distracting you, but by wrapping your senses in comfort. The key difference is the tone. Sleepiest stories often have slower pacing, softer transitions, and narrators who feel almost like a friend reading you to sleep. There was a woman, 71, living on her own in a small apartment in Yorkshire, who said she began using Sleepiest because the narrator's voice reminded her of her late husband. Not in a way that made her sad, but in a way that made her feel close to him again. Each night, she'd choose a story called The Lavender Path, and fall asleep before the second page was read. For many of us, especially after years of shared routines and now living alone, that human voice, even if it's recorded, can be a powerful source of calm. Sleepiest allows you to find a narrator you connect with and come back to them night after night, like a familiar ritual. If what you're looking for is not just peace but familiarity and trust, Sleepiest might be worth trying. Now let's talk about something a little different, an app called Noisely. Noisely doesn't have stories, doesn't even talk to you. Instead, it helps you shape the sounds around you. Think of it as your personal sound artist. With Noisely, you can create a custom mix of background sounds: rainfall, rustling leaves, distant thunder, soft wind, even the crackle of a fireplace. It sounds simple, but when combined in the right way, these sounds can transport you away from traffic, away from hallway noise, away from the occasional barking dog or refrigerator hum that always seems louder at night. There's something deeply calming about crafting your own sound world. One woman, 69 years old, living in New York City, said she used to dread the sirens and street noise that pierced her windows every night. Then she found Noisely. She created a mix she called Rainy Forest. Just rain, leaves, and gentle wind. Now she says it feels like she's sleeping in a wooden cabin somewhere deep in the mountains. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to physically leave your apartment to escape the noise. You can simply replace it. You can build a new soundscape, one that supports your sleep instead of stealing it. Another tool, much like Noisely but a little more straightforward, is white noise light. This one's been around for years, and for good reason. It plays a continuous, steady sound that masks sudden noises. Things like creaky floorboards, neighbors walking by, or distant car doors slamming. These are the little things that might not bother you during the day but can jolt you wide awake at 2 a.m. White noise is not music. It's not meant to entertain. It's just a smooth, consistent sound like an airplane cabin, a fan, or soft rainfall that helps your brain settle. The science behind it is strong. When your brain hears a stable, predictable sound, it stops listening for the unexpected. And that helps you stay asleep. One woman in Melbourne, widowed for over a decade, said she'd always slept lightly since her husband passed. Every little creak made her heart race. But once she started using the airplane cabin sound on white noise light, something shifted. The consistency of it reminded her of traveling with him, of dozing off with her head on his shoulder. That memory, combined with the comfort of no longer jumping awake at every noise, helped her sleep more deeply than she had in years. If you're someone who wakes up to the smallest sounds, this app might be worth trying, even during daytime naps. And now let's finish with one of the most well-designed, well-researched tools out there, Headspace. You may have heard of it before. It's a meditation app, yes, but it's so much more than that. It offers what they call sleepcasts, which are part guided meditation, part story, part soothing ramble. Each sleepcast begins with a few minutes of mindfulness, gentle breathing, soft focus, letting the body slow down. Then it transitions into a dreamy narrative. Not a plot-heavy story, but more like a meandering walk through a calming setting. An old garden, a quiet bookstore, a lantern-lit path by a river. The brilliance of sleepcasts is in their tone. The narrator speaks in a low, soft, unhurried rhythm. There's no climax, no twists, nothing to keep you alert. Just calm, steady words that your mind can follow like stepping stones into sleep. A woman in her mid-60s once shared that she'd struggled with sleep for nearly 2 decades. She had tried everything: chamomile, melatonin, stretching, even reading in bed. Nothing stuck. Then she tried Headspace. At first she felt unsure. Was she doing it right? Was it really going to help? But she gave herself 1 week. By the 4th night, she noticed she no longer checked the clock. By the 7th night, she was asleep before the sleepcast even made it to the second scene. What Headspace understands better than most is that sleep is not something we control, something we allow. And when we let go of the pressure to fall asleep, when we give ourselves a soft place to land, it often comes more easily. So here we are. 8 different tools. 8 different ways to approach the same tender need. The longing for rest, for peace, for that feeling of being held, even when no one else is in the room. None of these apps are magic. They won't erase grief. They won't fix loneliness. They won't stop the world from being loud or complicated. But they can offer a moment of softness, a bit of guidance, a voice in the dark, and sometimes that's all it takes. You don't have to fight your sleep anymore. You don't have to earn it or chase it or worry that you're doing it wrong. You can simply arrive, gently, in your own time, with a little help from voices and sounds that were made with care. If any of these apps speak to you, I encourage you to try one. Not all at once, just one. Give it a week. Let yourself listen. Not with the urgency to sleep, but with curiosity. See how your body responds. And if you already have a nighttime ritual, something that helps you feel grounded, calm, or simply less alone, I'd love for you to share it. Someone else out there might be looking for exactly what you found. If you found this video helpful, feel free to like it or share it with someone who might need it tonight. And of course, you're always welcome to leave a comment. Your experience might be just the encouragement someone else needs to finally rest. Tonight, may your room be quiet, your thoughts be kind, and your sleep come softly. You deserve that.